Okay. The thing about me is, I know I'm demonstrating all of these incredible polyphonic synthesizers, but in my heart, I'm a monophonic synthesizer fan. I really enjoy what can be done with monophonic synths because using a monophonic synth is a really different experience. You articulate sound differently with a monophonic synth, and you basically do different things with your hands, and the resultant sound is different. So when I play a polyphonic synth, immediately I'm just doing chords. And sometimes that has, because of the way that oscillators are allocated and filters are allocated, it makes it less synthesizer-y to me, if that makes any sense, because I'm just playing chords and oscillators are forced to, rigidly, each oscillator basically just follows these settings. You can't have individual oscillator control, whatever. Anyway, the point of the matter is, sometimes I really just prefer monophonic synths. So the great thing about the Memorymoog is if you have a Memorymoog, you are not limited to a polyphonic sound. You can go right into mono mode, which is controlled with this button here. Now we have a monophonic synthesizer. And that is awesome. Here we are with this huge polyphonic that we can also use as a monophonic. And why is that important? Because all this incredible functionality I've been showing you now can apply to a monophonic synth or not. You can get a very basic sound. Right now, I just have a single oscillator sound. Only one of the 18 oscillators is currently being used. Pretty traditional synthesizer sound. Now, if I wanted two oscillators, I'd just bring in the second oscillator. And I can get the detune I might want. Different oscillator waveform mixes. Or like a mini Moog, 3 oscillators. Uh-oh. We have it in low mode. That's interesting. Okay. Really unique sound. So just like a normal monophonic synthesizer, you can make use of all the oscillators. We can also bring in glide, which we haven't talked about, but we will. You can tune the oscillators to different pitches. You can get your prog on. And it operates just like a weird, massive monosynth with Curtis chip oscillators and Moog filter. It's very interesting. I wish someone had made use so extensively of this Memorymoog as a monosynth, and then people would listen to it and go, God, what monosynth sounds like that? I know this guy uses a Memorymoog for his chords, but So it's a really great function to have on a massive polysynth, the ability to make all of that massive polysynth functionality into a monosynth. But you might be saying to yourself, Mark, you just turned up a single oscillator, then another oscillator, and then a total of 3 oscillators. Doesn't this thing have 18 oscillators in there? How would you do that? Okay, well, let's keep in mind each voice, which is to say there are voices. When you play a chord with 6 notes in it, that's 6 voices being used. When you're playing a monosynth, you're just using one voice at a time. So theoretically, you only need these 3 oscillators and then you're set. One layer of those 6 voices is fine to implement a monosynth. But they didn't stop there. They allowed us to layer the remaining 5 3 oscillator chunks on top of our 1 3 oscillator chunk. And of course, the oscillators in those chunks, in those voices, are forced to do what our single voice is doing. So all the oscillators It's not like you can set all 18 to different settings or 6 different versions in different settings. All the settings are going to be the same as these 3 oscillators, but you're going to have more than one oscillator playing each oscillator, up to 6 oscillators per oscillator. Does that make sense? Okay, probably not, but let's listen. Oh, we have different glide settings. Anyway, so if I was a guy who wanted to have, say, 18 oscillators playing in my monosynth voice, here's how I do it. Go over here to keyboard mode, hit enter, and it says voices 1. You have the ability to choose 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 6. 6 is all of your oscillators playing this one line. So let's hear that. We were just hearing one voice, which is one layer of 3 oscillators. Let's hear 6 layers of 3 oscillators. Here we go. You can really hear it in the bass note. That is a lot of oscillators. Or if you want something more subtle, you could choose like 3 layers of 3 oscillators. Now, I don't know if you've ever played a DCO synth that had this sort of functionality, but when you go into unison mode, like on a Juno, all of those DCOs all are forced to play, and you don't get to decide how many play. They just all play, and they're all so close in tune, you just get this weird hollow tube vacuum sound. But here you have beautiful, warm VCOs that are just not perfectly aligned with each other, because that's the nature of VCOs, all acting at once and creating a really warm, big sound. But yeah, so not only is the Memorymoog a great polyphonic synthesizer, it's also a great monophonic synthesizer with all the options available that you would have for its polyphonic function, and the ability to stack all 18 or lesser numbers of oscillators on your single monophonic line.